Welcome to a bonus episode of the Mismatched play. Today I am joined by player extraordinaire Tim Deetlefs. He's been on a tear at LVO. He's a Canadian World Team Championship player, and we're really happy to have him on and just hear it out and just shoot the shit with him. So I hope you enjoyed this.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
This is Mismatched Play.
Tim, welcome to the show. I am glad to have you.
Wait, are we like live?
Yeah, of course we're live.
Oh, hello. Thank you for having me, Max.
It's my pleasure. I love this because you're about as organized as Austin is, so that's like perfect. I'm like right in my element, and then nobody will notice that something's different.
I don't want you to change for me.
No, it's this is perfect, man. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that we get a guest so early on, and not any guest. Goddamn, 6-0 at the LVO. You crazy person.
Yeah, I did a thing. Didn't go much further than that, but it was something.
I mean, it was a pretty good thing to do. Like in the realms of doing things, I think you did a pretty great thing according to many, including
Definitely.
Ogden.
Yes.
Ogden said you were a good guy, which I think in Boston terms, I think it ranks really high in terms of like compliments. So congratulations.
We had a beautiful game.
Yes, so I've heard. Because was it like a 2-turn affair, or did you play the? Because Ogden is like kind of famous for 45 minutes games.
Do you want me to go like in depth?
Or you can be as in depth as you want. I think everybody loves a good just to set the scene, people. Tim is with 5-0 at this point. Is that the win and in? Yeah, 5-0, and then he gets to play. He's playing Harlequins. You know, the last era of the Harlequins, or is it? And then he plays Tom Ogden. In the previous episode, I picked to win the LVO, so now my heart is torn. You know, Tim, my buddy, Canadian, Tom Ogden, my pick, and I'm a gambling man, so I don't like it to lose my bets. So yeah, tell us what's the mind.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the pairing, my heart sank a little. Not a lot, just a little.
Yeah, because you're still there to compete. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't my. Well, at least I didn't think it would be my preferred pick, but then talking to the boys, I realized it was the scouring for the last mission, which means the objectives are really close together.
Which is good for an Harlequin player, right?
Very good for me. So basically, turn one, I put 2 bikes on his one objective that he had a building on. I tagged his crisis unit, got my secondaries behind enemy lines and deadly performance, made it so he couldn't put up a banner, all that stuff.
Wait, he took banners into this match? What do you think?
It was a mistake.
Which one did he? Well, which other 2 secondaries did he take? Because this is kind of a weird choice.
He took banners, decisive action, and grind them down.
Oh, so no. What's the other one? Relays.
Aerospace. Yeah, if he would have taken aerospace, I think I would have played it much different.
Yeah. The game
he
obviously
has a better shot of winning. Yeah. But as soon as I see banners, I'm like, well, there's my path to victory.
I have found a way to win, and it is taking flags down.
Yes. So turn 1, I didn't let him put up a banner. And then turn 2, I did literally the same thing with another bike unit. And I gave him a 0 on primary while scoring all of my stuff. And then turn 3, he came out with both suit units, shot some stuff. But turn 2 and turn 3, because I got to place the building on the middle objective, I got 12s both turns. And
yes,
3 and the 2 actions, so I had 30 secondary points on turn 3.
So by that point, it's very late for him to full send and try to claw his way back, right?
So turn 3, he was about mid-table, and he deep struck his planes in his deployment zone. And then turn 4, he fully sent, but through Harlequin tricks, I was still able to get an 8.
Oof.
And at that point, I was at... So I basically talked out my turn 4 with him, and how I could put him on another 0 if I want to. But my secondaries were all like max, except for one because he killed my Shadow Seers. But
Yeah, but by that point, usually when you play versus Tau, if your opponent has like stuff on the board and you don't have like a huge lead in points, you're not gonna.
yeah, so I just showed him the score sheet and I said, "Hey, the score right now, like I'm up 38-0 on primary,
Yeah.
uh, and secondaries. Like I was like, yeah, you get a 15 on grind, you get 12 decisive, but at most you're gonna get like 7 banners if you put 5 up on turn 5."
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Mathematically, you're not gonna score 40 points on the last
Exactly.
turn. Yeah. I mean,
And there was no argument. He just looked at it, read it. He said, "You're right." We hugged it out, and then we had a nice chat.
that sounds like every Tom Ogden I know. Like doing the math and then hugging it out is exactly how I remember every game I've played versus Ogden.
It was very enjoyable, which was funny. You can ask him about this because both the games next to us were very contentious.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Did you want to spill the tea? We're not really a drama podcast, but I can. It's a bonus episode, so we can spill all the tea. Do you want to say who it was?
TJ and Box were playing on my left, but their game wasn't contentious. It was more Box was a bit upset about how broken Thousand Sun secondaries were in that matchup. I
He
think.
was getting flamered into his little precious Eldars, and he was thinking, "I got here by being a Blood Angel player. What am I doing with my life?"
And I spoke to Box about it afterwards, and he said TJ was great. He was just upset about
Yeah.
the
No, but
matchup.
yeah, unnerved flamer will do that to you.
Yes. And then on our right, Mike Porter was playing the Spanish guy. I'm not sure the Spanish guy's name.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, Terror. The Red Terror was not even playing Terror. That was my biggest upset. The guy's name on BCP is like the Red Terror, but in Spanish, which I can't pronounce. And he's not playing Nids. That's a fucking Nids model. What? Was he a redhead? Maybe that's what I missed. Was he a redhead,
Nope.
Tim? No. Oh,
Nope.
damn it. The swing and a miss on both counts. 2 strikes, bud. 2 strikes.
He was a small Spanish man.
Oh, damn.
That is what
Oh,
he was.
man. So it was definitely not a Red Terror, is what you're saying.
No.
Oh yeah, and then Mike Porter played into the top 8, so I'm assuming he.
Yeah, he won that game, but it was very contentious. They had like 5 judges at the table the whole game. I kept hearing mentions of cards and whatnot.
Really good grief.
Yeah.
That's oof. Yeah, no,
Most of it was directed towards not Mike, but yes.
no, but still, like it takes 2 to tango, as they say. Oh man, but yeah. So great game versus my buddy Ogden, which this is sort of a classic in the show, but we aim at talking about one subject and then we go completely off rail like we just did. So that's
Haywire.
perfect. We got that. We got that right out of the gate too. So the derail part of the show is already taken care of.
Hey,
So
you
that's
brought
great.
it up, man.
I know I did this to myself. I do this to myself constantly. This show is wrong decision after wrong decision after wrong. Well, a little bit like your podcast, right?
Yeah, starting a podcast is almost the wrong decision.
Yeah.
You know? And it goes downhill from there.
Exactly. I can see 1 year into my future by talking to Tim here. No, you're on your
No.
third year, second year. It's been more than a year, right?
Second year, yeah.
Exactly. I'm just starting out here, so then I can see 1 year into my future.
While you're ahead.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, folks, this is the end of this episode. It was a pleasure. No, I'm just fucking with you. Quit while you're well. Jokes on you. I've never been ahead so far. So, no, all right. But the thing. So you played Harlequins, and I think it's really cool because we get to talk about this a little bit because LVO was we called it like played in the past, where it was like the Nephilim stuff. So no arcs at all, and Harlequins have kind of taken a beat here. And that's great because I love talking about like how good people pick their armies because me, I just look at my shelves or I buy something dumb and then I play it, which is not the good way to go. So I'm really happy to hear your thoughts because now you have some pondering to do because you have a bunch of tournaments coming up.
Yeah, my poor Harlequins. They really they tried hard to not have them on tables anymore. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
Because you think they're still viable. They're clearly nerfed, sorry, but they're still a thing, you think.
So I can see my own personal playstyle, which is very tradey, one unit at a time. It goes out, dies. Oh well. So this change doesn't really affect my playstyle, but it does make me much more susceptible to here is 20 wardens.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are about to be shocked by the here's 20 wardens. What do you do with 20 wardens or more,
Yeah.
if according to Chrysanes, um, and Chrysanes and a couple because he's been talking. This man be talking. We'll talk more about the wardens in a minute, for sure. Because I know we have at least one faithful Custodes listener that is not me, but we'll definitely talk about wardens. So basically, the Harlequin's just like super firepower, like five fusion in every boat. That's a thing of the past.
You can't do that. Yeah.
Okay.
That
Because
in the most recent book, you can only take 2 fusions per unit.
Oh, okay, so I'm way in the past, and you see that's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
told you. My every time I play Harlequins, I just nod politely. Yeah, and this does this. Yep, it does. And then this can do this. Yep, it can. Yep. And
Maybe
then
the people you're playing say they have 5 fusion pistols.
no, I don't. I just don't play that often, or I imagine like fusion pistol. But the key to my strategy is not letting them shoot whatever gun they have. I don't want to learn. It's the same thing with Genester Cult. What they do in melee, I don't care. We're not gonna get there, bud. If I can have it my way, we're not getting there, okay? Or you're gonna kill something that like any freaking like random weapon is gonna kill anyway. And that's just
I don't think your Death Guard really uphold that strategy. Okay.
the dead guard is dead to me. My armies always get like the worst. Do you know who was building like a really nice Tyranids collection?
You.
Yeah, oh yeah. I had a lot of everything that got a point hike. I have. So which is like more than half the book, to be fully
I
honest.
didn't even know that. I didn't know you were building Tyranids.
Well, I started collecting them, and then I did one test model, and then arcs came down, and I was like, oh no. And my test model looked really good too. Oh, it was a shame. I was like,
what color
really...
scheme did you go with?
It's a modified Kraken. I will show you, and I will post this in the episode description somewhere. I painted the what's the new guy with the wings, the Parasite, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Painted that one guy. It looked ballin'. It's the only one that's going to be painted for at least a year, I think.
Nah, you're gonna paint all of them.
Well, I will at some point, but now there's really no redeeming qualities to Tyranids. I don't like the Horde army. So like if that's the way that this book is gonna go, I'm never gonna play them. Like I'm not a Tyranids player at heart, and I don't like the like 270 guns. I liked it because the monsters and the warriors were good. That was like my thing. I like the big stuff. So now that they kind of
Still some good monsters. I honestly didn't even look at what went up in points.
I think that's the weird part. I think is like they when they announced the nerf, they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna make sure that people can play the small nids and make it a little bit horde army. But then they nerfed all of the like support pieces that make all this small shit viable. I think what's gonna end up is like people are gonna play like Behemoth with big monsters or Jorgermund or whatever to make them like count as 5 or count as 10 and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's a really weird nerf where they nerfed one thing and the exact opposite is gonna happen. It's just people are just gonna play like the which unit has the best stats in the book. Okay, that's the one, and because like their goal was like, oh, we want the little stuff to come to be playable, but then they nerfed every single thing that supports. Like they nerfed Turvigon, they nerfed the Venom tropes, they nerfed the Zoan tropes. I mean, like
fuck all of those.
Like
things.
all of everything that gives a buff to my little stuff is unplayable. Like give me a chance here. So
I will not miss Tyranids at all. That book can be burned.
I mean the Leviathan Warriors was oppressive as shit. Yeah, I mean like I played them with Dead Guard, which like all of the rules in Kraken says Dead Guard can suck a dick with their special rule, which that was not fun. I'll tell you that much. It says so in the book. Francois showed me his book, and it literally said so. It says Max and his Dead Guard can suck a dick right now. Swear to God.
I 100% believe that.
Well, I believe the next page said something about you sucking a dick either, because I think you got the same treatment that I got later in that event.
Mine was slightly different, but anyways.
Okay.
Slightly different.
Yeah, your page had more girth, is what you're saying.
Yes. And girth is power, okay?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Underrated. Underrated. I'm glad that we can take some elements of the Hump Day, the 40K Hump Day podcast, and bring it into the Mismatched Play podcast. Now this is the true fusion.
We haven't started talking about docking yet, so
Well, I was just waiting for the door to open. Oh man. Okay. I'm glad. I'm glad we haven't really began talking about docking. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe the internet at large is not that ready for for it. It's a very niche subject, folks.
Everyone on the internet knows what it is. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. True that it comes from the internet. And did you know that for like the better part of a year, one of our friends was like streaming competitive like Hearthstone. He was a really good Hearthstone player, and we made a fake account that we shared that was called the Ducking King. And then we'd all like rotate, and the Ducking King was like giving money and like giving subs and everything, but it was never the same person, so you could never fucking figure out who it was. And we did this for like a whole year of having the Ducking King.
You still have the account? Because you should revive it.
If you guys ever do like a live show on Twitch and stuff, I'm gonna find that account, sir. I will dig it up.
I'm gonna take that as a promise. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you have to do like I'm pretty safe because I said you guys needed to do a Twitch live show. So
you just wait one day, Diogo. He's gonna drink an extra cup of coffee or something. You know, it's gonna take off. You know those memes? It's like what the world would be like if this didn't happen.
Yeah, it's like if Diogo has coffee, what would happen?
Yeah,
that would be good. A good like segment though, like just like chug an energy drink and then.
No, he has to chug a burning hot coffee.
Oh, really? Okay, that's like torture and like it's energy and torture.
That's
I like it. I like it. Damn it, poor Diogo.
There's places on the internet for that. Come on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, yeah, because you want him to do it live. It's like people like Jeff Brown and me would like tip and stuff, right?
More than tip, I think.
Oh, we do all the hoops that you'd want us to jump through. I can see me and Jeff Brown jumping through all of them. Yes.
And you're matching yoga pants.
I don't. I'm not. No.
Okay, how much? What would it take to get you to wear said yoga pants?
No, that's not happening. It's like no. I mean, that's not true. I got it. You know, I got a price, of course, but like it's way too high for something that, like. You can find way more disturbing stuff for that amount of money, is all I'm saying.
Okay, we're going to start a GoFundMe for Max's yoga pants.
It's okay. Okay. Yes. Please do. Please do. Hey, look, I'll take all I can get. I mean, like, if this GoFundMe works, Tim, and you're going to be in charge of everything, I'm doing Adepticon, I'm doing CHTT, and then I'm doing Bruno's event back to back to back, baby, all the weekends.
Get in the water already. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. I'm not wearing those for all these events. I'll wear that one of them, but you know, it'll be there. It'll be there. All right, let's get back on track here, because the train is off the track right now. It's okay. This is not live. We'll edit all of this out.
Yeah, of course.
We won't. This is a bonus episode. We get to say this stuff. All right, back to the thing. So Harlequin's not really dead, according to you, and yet you have a bunch of events coming up. So now, because I'm assuming you have not really played a lot of Arcs of Omen with LVO practice. Is that what?
So I went to that GT the weekend before LVO.
And that was Arcs.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because you five
took Custodes.
Yes, the Custodes. And you like the Custodes in the new?
Yeah, I think they're borderline busted.
Ooh.
Top tier, in my opinion.
But then again, but you also played. To be fair, you played Custodes at WTC while they were not really a thing, and then you came out with great success, moderately great success. How would you describe your WTC run?
So I was talking to the boys about this Sunday night in Vegas. I went undefeated at WTC and LVO in the same year.
That's a
Quite the
that's a pretty
achievement.
freaking good. That's a good resume here to have. You know.
Now, a few of the games at WTC were 10-10s, but I did win those games, just not by enough.
No, but
But
yeah, but I mean,
still
10
undefeated.
10 is undefeated still.
Yeah,
Like, and also I know for a fact that in WTC you were not the guy that was supposed to score 20 and got tens. You know.
my I if anyone doesn't know, I love custode bikes.
Yes, I remember that was a big debate too because during the WTC, what the thing was dreadnoughts right before, and then John Lennon, the madman, he took like 6 of them with tanks, and then you were like, no, I like walking through walls a lot more or flying through walls. I want the bikes, and now the bikes are kind of good again.
Yeah, well, the bikes didn't directly gain anything in
No, but the fact that
arcs.
everybody else, like the fact that now a bike actually kills a marine instead of he gets a 5 up
Yes.
versus your bike, which was kind of
So
insulting.
I tell you a story. At this GT, this ARCS GT I went to. Round one, I played against Ultramarines with a Repulsor Executioner.
Oh wait, do you like Ultramarines in the new arcs?
They're Marines to me. I
Okay,
I am told Iron Hands and Dark Angels are the best. I don't know. Uh, they're just different
I was just
shades to me.
curious because I really think they're like a sleeper a little bit. Ultramarines have like some really good stuff,
Um,
really good stuff. Sorry.
but so this Repulsor scared the fuck out of me. So when on my first turn, I like moved all my bikes out and I was going to shoot it with all 10 of my rockets. And then I killed it with the first four.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, armor of contempt.
yeah. Turns out it was a big deal.
Yeah, it
That's
was
what I
bad.
found with the new Marines is like they die a lot. So if you play a little bit cagey and then you want to trade with Marines don't really like trading that much anymore because they do die a lot. So that's why I think Custodes got better just for the fact that they can kill stuff and their save is now still better than it was. Like a Marine had like a better save than Custodes for all.
Yeah, it was savage. It was crazy.
So yeah, no, I like it. So the bikes doing, and I heard a rumor that tournament that you went to was a very soft. Now, did you get handed the win over there, or was it
Uh,
were people trying to take you down a peg? You know, is that what was going on?
my first two rounds were pretty easy, but my next three rounds were very hard.
Okay.
But my third round opponent was a Necron player, Nick. I don't know him. I've never met him. I was told by people who know him that he's very good, and he did play very well. And his
What?
list was kind of off meta. He was running a fucking monolith and a night scythe,
Oh man, you would
and
love Austin. Austin's like as the biggest boner on the monolith right now. The,
yeah, and he had 40 flayed ones that came out of them
yeah.
after they deep struck. Yeah, it was that shit,
Also,
and
was
it
doing
was
the
actually
Mifrit thing.
terrifying.
Was that it? Mifrit Dynasty or Novak? Which one was it?
Novak, yeah, the hitty one, the punchy one.
Well, I don't know. I've read that Mifrit had like a thing, but I don't get it fully. But I heard that Mifrit was the other good one. But yeah, no, I love this kind of list. I think because like the classic lists are people kind of defaulted with Necrons to like they play Nihilak because that is like basically what you had before ish. So they just like kept their list. They switched the dynasty to Nihilak, and then maybe did not like really change anything, and that probably will not work that much.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of like I wouldn't say gotcha'd me a bit. He gotcha'd a few people with it. Not, I'm sure he told them, but like you can't really do anything about it when the thing deep strikes 9 inches away from you. Then they get out and it's like a 5 inch charge
Yeah,
with a gigantic unit. Like it's just gonna happen, right? I
yeah,
will
it's
say,
very hard to block correctly.
I think if that unit was OBSEC, it would be obviously much better. But they do hit pretty hard.
Yeah, the problem is like Necron troops are like really garbage. Like, I guess you do that with like 20 warriors or something, and then they have to shoot you because they have the shotguns thingy. So it's not even like a close combat punch. Like you get 2 attacks per if you want to, and then maybe 1 AP if you get the protocols and whatnot. But it's not really Like the obsec does not transfer anymore, so
Yeah, it's not great.
you have to have either obsec or a punchy unit. You can't do both.
Yep. But round 4, I played my friend playing GSC, but he had never. He's a very good GSC player, but he never really played against Custodes. Um, and it was on the scouring,
Okay.
and I had 9 Venatari, and they went caw, and they charged his home objectives, and
Venatari, if they didn't look so ugly. If they did not look so ugly. We have like 4 episodes out, and I've whined about Venatari twice now. At
they
least.
are so good. You need to just close your eyes and play them. Okay.
Pretend that there's something else.
Yes. And then my round 5, I played against Zach Cuomo playing a very aggressive guard list, and he
New book or old
tabled
book?
me. New book.
Ooh.
With 15 Rough Riders, all the Lehman Russes, Kazarkin, all that
Was
shit.
that because I've seen a couple of Zach's newer lists? Was it because he did not like own the Rogaldorns and the mortars, or does he not like mortars and Rogaldorns?
He does not like mortars, and he doesn't own Rogaldorns, but there is a genuine discussion about Lehman Russes versus Rogaldorns.
Oh, I've seen which side are you on? Because I've seen that debate
I mean,
before.
5 Lehman Russes is 5 Lehman Russes,
Yes. Okay.
you know?
I mean,
Like,
I can see.
like
I
the-
see the point. I think they're undercosted. I think if they were, like, if they bump any points at all on Lemon Russes, I think Rogaldorns are gonna be max play.
and
But
yeah. But I also haven't played against any Rogaldorns, so
I've not. I've just read the book and I've played the versus a lot of the new guard stuff, but not the Dorn because my buddy didn't have any Dorns and we didn't
yeah.
play test that one. But it's so good. Like at one game he was playing, it was like I'm doing like almost playing at random and I'm beating you. This book is like so good.
Yeah, that's
It
what
was
it
very
feels like.
frustrating.
Oh, you killed my tank. It's gonna kill your unit on its way out. Like,
Practically, it was. I don't remember them, but that's because he learned the game. This guy's a madman. He learned the game with sisters, which is something you should never probably do, because sisters play a weird game. So now he has like all the power, with the guard. So now he's a beast.
except no miracle dice.
Yeah. It's like, no miracle dice, no problem. I just like roll them and then stuff dies. This is amazing. But yeah, Zach he was like first or second in Imperial Guard in the ITC, I think. Was he first?
Yeah, he ended up taking first in Vegas. He actually played Brett the Catachan for it.
Oh,
in
who
the
was
last
the
round.
other contender?
Yeah,
Ooh, that's
and,
so dope.
He ended up winning by 1 point.
Do you think they rigged the matchup for them to play? Were they like in the same bracket and they were just like, yeah, you
I don't
guys
know. I
play
did play
that?
Will Paul first round, which seemed a little rigged. But
Oh, that's so. The fact that like you guys don't put the same club name is like fast. Like I understand
Well-
it, but
apparently Will Paul doesn't put any club name.
I do that too. I'm a scumbag like that. All right, so let's give our listeners maybe some sort of content here that they can enjoy. Tell me about like picking an army, because that's something that like now you're confronted with, right? Like you have a bunch of events coming up, and then you get to choose what army you want to play. Do you start like kind of fresh, or do you go with what you have and then you upgrade? What's the thought process behind it?
This is probably the first season I've stuck with a list for an extended period of time, which was 8 Boat Harlequins. I started playing that a few months ago, and I literally did not change the list at all, which I never do. But coming into Stutter Snotling, which is the first event after LVO, I'm not looking at me so much. I'm looking at the meta that like I know my friends and other people are bringing, and
And Space Marines, yeah.
I'm looking at the 2 armies that I would like to bring, which are Custodes and Harlequins. Trying to decide which one would be better, or I haven't actually played a game with Harlequins with a 5-up yet. That's kind of an issue. As I alluded to earlier, I don't think either of the lists I want to take can beat 20 Wardens.
Yes, okay. Yeah, because your take on Custodes is again a more trading type of Custodes, right? You have like
I feel like Harlequins.
golden clad
Literally.
Harlequins, yes. But then why don't you want to play I call it the Bing Bong Custodes on my cell phone. That's what it's called, that list. Like the 20. So for those people that maybe don't know about this thing that's about to sweep this beautiful nation of ours, Custodes in Adelaide Uprising, so the Australian tournament, went 8-0, and that list is a monster. It's basically Solar Watch with 20 wardens, so they advance and charge, and then you get like a turn 1 charge with some other unit. It's amazing. So people have been playing like rifts on that with like more wardens because like 20 was not enough. So you get this is a really straightforward list of Bing Bong. So what's stopping you from playing that? Because this is like brute force and everything, right?
I don't have the models and I'm lazy.
Yes.
B, I don't think it's my style. And I would just be paranoid of playing against like 30 GSC bikes. They go first and I don't leave my deployment zone.
Because you have absolutely no way of crossing them. So if they form a line, you have to kill that line, push over, and then they make another line just behind it. And
yeah. I do think it's probably the strongest army at the moment.
Of all, if you could pick one army as the main one, you would think that the full-on Custodes is the one.
I think 20 Wardens and 9 Venatari is the strongest army.
Oh, I like that. I like that take. I still hate Venatari as models, but rule-wise, I like that take. It's all the good stuff, right?
You're less susceptible to the movement blockage. Like, you're still going to have units to get out. Also, turn 1, a unit of Venatari just charges you, because it moves like 18 inches and then charges you.
Yeah. Yeah, and you charge a weird corner or something. It's really good. That was before this book. That was how Venatari were played, because Venatari were not really great for the most part. But in Solar Watch, they had the advance and charge, so that was really interesting.
I was running one unit for a little bit just because they were cheap and they're fast. But
you never play Solar Watch either, right? You play you like the
Shadow
which one?
Keepers.
The Shadow Keepers. Because the -1 attack? -1 attack and strike last? Is that it?
And strike last. And they also get the no reroll hits kata.
Oh, yeah, that's
they get
a
it
good
twice.
one. Yeah, no fallback,
Yeah.
no reroll hits. Oh, that's a good one. I thought that was a Solar Watch one, sadly.
No, Solar Watch has the advance and shoot one.
Oh.
Which isn't bad, but...
Oh, advance in action, you mean? No?
No,
advance
I think that's the same one.
Oh, that's a good one. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Advance in action.
Solar Watch is really good. They also get fallback and charge army wide.
Yes. I mean, everybody knows what Solar Watch is because that's how you'd spend your CP to turn into a new chapter. And you'd always pick Solar Watch to fall back and charge. That was the play.
But that list, not only is it just so brute force durable, it will kill anything. It also its secondary game is like locked down.
Yeah, you never have to worry really about, unless your opponent gives you a really easy one. You always pick with banners.
And vigil and grind.
Yeah, because your plan is to be in the middle of the board turn 1, and then never.
And you're gonna have like 30 obsec models on the middle objective that
count
you
for
can't
2.
kill.
Uh-huh.
like what? And if you run the math, so I personally, if I was gonna play it, I would take wardens with axes. Because they can go up to strength 9 in Rendax, and then you can do +1 to wound. So they'll wound knights on 2s with axes.
Huh. You speak to me. You don't know this, but you speak to me. Because I love any way that I can beat a knight player. I love it. I just love it. I hate losing to knights. It drives me mad. So I just love that this one specific play is just for knights. Oh.
Yeah, so basically like 5 wardens will just kill a big knight.
Really?
Yeah.
I like to hear that, and also
even like a -1 damage armiger, like it's still gonna die.
Yeah, well, armiger, even the -1 damage armiger, they take a beating quite often though.
Yes, they do.
Do you like knights overall? I mean, they're really not a U army, but because I really like knights with the Arcs of Omen. I think it's one of the armies that got like a lot of good stuff back
I
in
think they're
it.
pretty good. I also think it's a product of like all these Marine armies taking Gladiator Reapers specifically, which Knights don't really care about.
Yeah, bunch of
Um,
one shots and not a lot of AP is good. One
I
damage.
don't
Sorry.
I don't like Knights as an army, but I do think they're quite good right now. But they also can't play against demons.
Oh, because of the deep strike, and then they're always.
Yeah, like that demon list, two of them made top 8 with Scarbrand, the Wound Gated Bloodthirster, and like a Lord of Change.
Yeah.
Like that army will just table a Knight
Yeah,
army.
because that army practically does not change. Maybe the flamers sometimes, because they,
Yeah,
they
you
were they
don't
were
take
running a bunch of
Flamers
flamers, so
anymore, I
now you
don't think.
don't.
Yeah.
What would you change? Because that list is like Nanavati. I heard him talk like on the. I don't know if it was being interviewed or during his game, but he was telling like, "Oh yeah, I'm running the same list or almost the same list."
I would just drop the Flamers for probably
Well,
uh
corn dogs I think are the next thing, right? Because
yeah,
they
they're
drop
really
points, right?
good. Yeah, they're really good. But also at that GT I was at, the Arcs GT, Skylar, who a lot of people probably don't know, but he's like an OG in the scene. He brought like
Skylar's
meme
like an
triple
old man. You know, he's
bloodthirster.
got the old man strength.
Yeah, but he brought like meme triple bloodthirster, and nobody could deal with it. Literally.
I saw his. I looked at his list and I was like, "Oh, poor Skylar. That's not gonna work." And then he was like 3-0 or 4-0 at some point. I was like, "Skylar, what are you doing to people?"
Yeah, man, that's a lot of toughness 8. Like a lot. Like,
I
what does
remember
an
I
Iron
saw.
Hands
Yeah,
army do to that? Absolutely nothing.
yeah. Skylar's the guy at your club that never plays, and then when he does, he just like whoops people for no reason.
Yeah,
I've.
literally no reason. He's all like hunchback and stuff, and you like feel bad, and then he just tables you. Okay, Max, I gotta ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Space Marines, where are we going?
Oh man. Oh, Jesus. They are so bad. They are so bad.
What?
I don't like anything. Everything they're so bad. Chaos Marines are so bad. I want them to be good. They are so bad.
Why are they so bad?
They weren't honestly. Besides the Emperor's children, they were not that great to begin with. And I really feel like that book was like built for Armor of Contempt.
Do you not think Emperor's Children are still good?
That's what I was about to say. Is I think it's the only way to still play them, which is again another great thing about arcs of let's nerf the Emperor's Children, they're too good and they're still the fucking best thing. Because they also nerfed Creations of Baal, which was not that great because
It
it
was
relied
pretty good.
on. I mean, it was like amazing, but it relied on playing melee, and melee when you have like Space Marines with a million guns and Imperial Guard is not a thing. Okay, I want everybody to
Fair,
understand
fair.
melee not a thing. It's not real.
But that's not Emperor's Children's game.
I know. And Pro Children they shoot a lot, and they also turn down melee. So for the few people that want to play melee, but Emperor's Children are kind of the interesting thing. However, my problem is if I'm gonna play Marines with guns, I'm gonna play Space Marine with gun. I'm not gonna bother with the.
Yeah, but they're not pointy or horny.
Oh, they're horny. When I play them, they're horny, my guy. I like aesthetic wise. But also like if I can run 5 Devastators with grav cannons and 5 Devastators with grav cannons and 5 Devastators with grav cannons versus 6 units of Emperor's Children, Noise Marines, I'll take the Devastators all day. Like they just kill every single Noise Marine, no questions asked.
Yeah, but the Noise Marines also kill them.
I don't like that I feel like it's the only
Okay.
way to play them or some like really because the other way is like the crazy janky weird fucking list like 110 normal Marines,
No, that's
like
terrible.
60 Marines or something. Like it's got like some weird like 60 Marines in the Alpha Legion and then you bring them back or whatever, you get like shenanigans. Ugh. It
Okay,
ugh.
listen. All right, I played against Emperor's Children for the first time at LVO, and I was
Yes, you played
very
Mate, my buddy Mate. Yes.
yes, it was a very good game, but I was very impressed. I knew all the shit they could do, but like it's crazy.
Well, yeah, no,
So
they're really good. But you
My
also played
hot
them
take,
at LVO with Armor of Contempt.
yes. But my take is the Terminators being nerfed and Abaddon not being able to go in their army anymore is actually like a blessing
Because it
in
stops you from
disguise.
taking that and you have to focus on other stuff. Is that it?
Yes. So now you're gonna see 6 units of Noise Marines, like 30 possessed, the Disco Lord, the Demon Prince, just all the good shit. And it's just gonna be really good.
I can see that. I honestly I can see because that's all the good stuff. For like yes, I think 30 possessed I think is the probably every
The way.
every
Yeah.
CSM list. That's not like a weird janky weird thing, but I also don't really like that. I think like again, and in the same kind of like train of thoughts. Why would I want to play 30 possessed when I can play 20 wardens? You know,
That is fair.
it's kind of the
But
same thing. It's like their chaos is like really nice, and they got the spikes and the stuff. But like they're the sub, they're like the budget version of like the real book.
so I was actually thinking about it today.
Where are
That
you?
army, aside from guard, probably puts out the most flat 3 damage shooting.
What puts out the 3 flat? Hold on.
Noise Marines.
Yeah, but with the blast thingy, right?
Thrustmaster. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's 3/4 damage if you're within half range.
Yeah. Which
Um,
prefer not to be, but can be.
it's gonna happen at some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so and okay, I guess Emperor's Children can't do it, but that Nurgle Demon Prince with Death Hex will fuck up some wardens.
Yes. I mean, but yeah, but the Nurgle Demon Prince fucks up every like whoever it
Everything.
wants.
Yeah.
And would you consider running Noise Marine in a non-Emperor's Children army?
Probably not, because they don't get the ignore hit modifiers.
Yeah, that's what makes them over. That pushes
Yeah.
them over. Also, you get to play more than 3 units of them.
Yeah. But that actually leads me to what I wanted to bring up next, which is word bearers, because they can take the Nurgle Prince. What do you think about word bearers?
I think again, I feel like it's the same thing that we talked about earlier with the Nihilak Necrons. I think you default to Wordbearer because it's the closest to what you had before with like with CSM. CSM was that before, and then they got a nerf. Okay, well I take Wordbearers and it looks almost like the same army. Cool.
I'll just be happy to not see Terminators anymore.
Well,
They're
I think
really
Word Bearers
annoying.
are still the one. Maybe Word Bearers and Iron Hands, not Iron Hands, Iron
Warriors.
Warriors are probably the two factions that still bring the brick. Because Word Bearers can make them do like all the crazy stuff.
Yeah, they're just really expensive now, I think.
But they still pack guns and like you don't need all the fast units. I like the Chosen. I'll be honest. There was the guy. I don't think he made it past the Shadow round, or maybe he lost
Oh,
first
he
round of
made it.
top
He made
eight.
it top 8, yeah.
That I his models were ugly. I cannot stand his models. I apologize to that if you're listening. I'm sorry, my guy. That Tyranid slash Joker slash Chaos not doing it, but I was like watching him play, and he had like all these crazy like the Chosen. I was watching him do stuff with the Chosen. I was like, ooh, this is sexy. This is not relying on Armor of Contempt really, and it kills people. I liked it. I
Yeah,
liked
Tilly
it a lot.
failed his 9-inch charge with the auto 6, and it was a wrap.
But yeah, but it's still a cool.
Yeah, of course. Emperor's Children are really good. Chosen are good. Possessed are better. Okay?
I agree, but I mean, after 30 possessed, you still have points left. So what are you gonna spam? Yeah, Chosen. Did you like the drop pod? Is that like a Tim thing?
No, I don't like drop
Oh.
pods. I don't like that at all.
I figure it's all the because you're a good player, but you're also a little bit of a conservative player. Like you don't take the gambles really that much, right?
No, I do not
Yeah.
gamble. In 40K, that is.
Because I don't want to talk about chaos, man. I got Austin already talking about chaos I can't.
Yeah, you got to go back to them.
Because you guys know it. I'll end up like playing Chaos Space Marines at Adepticon and I'll make the worst list known to man. but they'll just look great because I have an Abaddon. He looks like really really good, and I have 30 cultists, and they look really really good. So I'll find a way to use them. It's gonna suck, but I'm gonna use them. Uh, yeah. So but back to the you choosing armies. So once you look at the meta, how big is the skill cap? Because that was a thing that was just in terms of custodies. Putting aside the eloquence, that's what I like the most about the wardens is it looks kind of simple. Like you get one or two like little combos to think about, and it does its own thing. Like you said, like I haven't played Harlequins with the new book before the event. Like how fast do you think you can learn that versus custodies versus 20 wardens? Does that play like a huge part?
So I'm not even thinking about like running 20 wardens myself, if that's what you're asking.
No. I was
No,
just I
just
wanted
playing
to make
against
a
it.
apples because comparing maybe custodians to Harlequins might be a little bit harder, especially for me that knows exactly nothing about Harlequins.
So really, I don't know why, but I like to like focus in on what I perceive as my hardest matchup is going to be in at an event. So like for LVO, my hardest matchup would have been Thousand Suns and Flamers. So I changed the loadout on my Troop Master to tech for that, but that was all that I did.
Okay.
But for the Wardens, I think about it with my Harlequins, and it's like, well, I literally can't kill that. Like I cannot, aside from like just dumb luck. Um, and I see the game going. I always picture them going first because worst case, he moves to the middle, and then on turn two, he's on my two objectives, and I'm not scoring primary anymore. And then I go to his backfield and I like take his objectives, but then he's already gotten like 3 12s, and it's too late.
But I meant more in terms of you, like you learning, like because I'm guessing like custodians you kind of already know the army. So how much do you think like learning Harlequins plays like learning the newer
That's
play
not
style?
really playing a thought in my head, to be honest. Because, like I said earlier, I think uh, the change doesn't affect my playstyle as much as it would others who were playing much more aggressive.
Oh yes. So in the same vein, like custodies, you were always on the bike train, so you're still playing bikes, and
Yeah.
so your play style is not that affected. It's just like learning new like
New
what
matchups.
can trade. Yeah, exactly. All right, I guess that makes sense. And that's why you were ignoring my question, not because you were rude, because you don't
No, no,
care
no.
about it. I see.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the new matchups. Like I'm not with either army. I'm not really worried about Marines. Knock on wood. I think Harlequins and Custodes both go really well into Marines. Other than that stupid Deathwing Terminator army, which is just cancer.
I'm amazed that people are not talking about that. I think I'm not really amazed because I think Iron Hands is like the obvious like guns are free. Who has the best guns? Iron Hands. Okay, cool. But man, Dark Angels, they are no joke. I am shocked that people are not like jumping into the Dark Angel train harder.
See,
Shocked.
but then you go along that vein, and it's like 20 Wardens is just better than that.
Yeah, yeah, agree.
So it's just like a slope, and they play very similar. Just the
But they play
Custodes are
similar. But
way
Dark Angels
meta.
have way more guns though. Wardens is like the you have the two bricks of Terminators, but then the rest of the list, because there's believe it or not, there's a rest of the list. The oh well, now that they nerfed the Plasma Inceptors, maybe not, because
Yeah, no,
that was the
yeah.
main thing. Huh.
Now that they're gone, it's like yeah, there's some Cyclone missile launchers and some bolters. It's like whatever.
Yeah, and then yeah, with Ravenwing. Well, still, it's fucking Ravenwing bikes versus Venator. It's a very similar army, and I guess you compete with the same style of
Yeah, you're
secondaries.
compact.
Because
You're super heavy on objectives, but Custodes are twice as heavy on
yeah,
objectives.
and then
And
do you like Blood Angels? I know you talk a lot to with Sam, our
yeah,
boy Sam.
that was a roller coaster this weekend. He was real worried about losing Armor of Contempt.
Oh, really? So he was enjoying his Vegas experience, his
Yeah,
last hurrah.
yes, ignoring AP2 basically. Yes. Um, but then on the flight home, he came to this revelation of now he has 40 free meltaguns.
Yeah, I heard those were good. Like I spoke to Harlequin people, and they said, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, but his hit on twos
Oh, yeah, that's still fun. Yeah.
and have rerolls. So I think Blood Angels are going to be very good. And I
I think
think
so too. And I'm kind of tired to argue it because like, oh yeah, but Iron Hands guns, pew pew pew. Man, I understand they don't have the armor of condemn, but like they will fuck you up. That's a
well, I
lot of
think
like.
all the events are player place terrain. So Blood Angels can put a building anywhere near the middle.
Yeah, I
They
mean
just
that's
beat
like,
Iron Hands.
and we were so lucky to get like a Jack Harpster on stream so many times because that was like a masterclass on like this is why player plays terrain is not like the greatest thing on earth.
No, Blood
Or
Angels are busted on player place terrain.
yeah,
Quite
I'm
literally.
so I mean I like I no I was about to say I like player I don't like player plays terrain because I'm very bad at it. I've played the 3 games versus Austin last month and all 3 I lost by placing my own buildings. Actually, I was 2 draw in the loss, but the loss was like a severe loss. A good old fashioned beating.
I would agree. I think WTC terrain, and I've never played on GW terrain. I feel like I won't like it, but I feel like I will like it. You know,
What are you going to an event that plays Games Workshop terrain?
no, not at the moment.
Okay, because I played a little. I practiced a lot on it before Nova, and it is a weird.
Yeah, for sure.
It's I kind of I liked it because it was like very different, and I felt like I could do things like it felt good, but it also made me take out my Silent King from my army, and then you laughed at my army list, um, which did great by the way. Thank you very much.
I think Blood Angels are also busted on GW terrain.
I yes I very much think so because they're really great for infantry. Like large infantry is like really good on there.
Fast,
So
fast infantry. Yeah.
yes, oh for sure. For sure. I also don't know how long this Games Workshop terrain is gonna last, kind of thing, because maybe with 10th edition, maybe they change it up like drastically. I've heard that through the grapevine that terrain was like a lot more, like match play terrain was a lot more explicit in the rules. Well, we of course we have to see how tournament organizers use that, but
Yeah.
because do you think that that's what something would happen? Like if the match play book said like competitive tables should be played on like like let's say Games Workshop terrain with X and Y rule. Would you do you think a lot of events would like switch
I don't
immediately
think
or?
so. I think it's still a money thing for the most part.
I agree.
Like LVO was 3/4 of their terrain was 8th edition terrain.
Yeah, it was mostly boxes, right?
There was a lot of boxes, but you couldn't. Okay, I still don't understand the rules for this terrain. Okay, uh, I asked a judge specifically. I carried a piece of terrain over to him. I said, "Can I go in this?" He said no. The people playing next to me were in it, and they were playing it as no windows. And then the people to my right were in it, and they were playing that it had windows. So it was just the wild, wild west, literally.
This is
I watched a Tau player literally lose because a guy put a box in the middle objective, just like the old days.
well, I heard that the what was it? Brad Chester's and Ines Wilson's game was like pretty much look at this terrain. This is not going to be playable, and lo and behold, it was not really playable.
So I saw Ennis's tweet and I saw a picture of the table. I don't know if our listeners saw it, uh, but Ennis, if you're listening to this, how did you allow that to happen?
But that's also what I thought it was weird. Like the big what's it? It's a hanger,
A
I guess, or
hanger?
something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
wall,
I
a
think they
hanger with
were
no
playing it
wall.
as a box. I think you're supposed to play it as a box.
It was weird, and it was like in the almost dead center of the board. It was weird.
So to me, it looked like Brad somehow managed to place all 3 of the first terrain pieces and put them all on the middle objectives. But I know that's not what happened.
That's yeah.
So,
How did terrain go so badly is kind of
yeah, yeah.
but
Although
yeah.
I will say that table they played on was one of the worst ones for actual like terrain quality.
Well, that piece was like I would not want to play that piece because I think it just leads to argument or misunderstanding. Because you cannot use it as it is. You have to understand like the rules. Like you have to make up rules for it,
Yep.
basically.
Not player plays terrain rules like we play here, so you could place terrain right on the middle. So first drop was super important,
Yes,
and which also helped Blood Angels even more because if they got to put one
because
of
your
those
first drop
giant,
affects your opponent's border
yes,
or the middle
um,
actually usually, but still. The first piece
yeah,
that you place, if you place it near the middle, it affects where your opponent can and cannot place stuff.
and basically it means your opponent can put shit hidden on the middle objective, which everyone knows the middle objective is kind of the most important.
Yeah, I've heard
In,
that.
in
I've heard,
five
I've heard
objectives.
that like if you wanted to have more than your opponent, having the one in the middle was kind of a very
Yes.
helpful thing.
I actually witnessed Blood Angels versus Thousand Suns, where a cathedral was put on the middle objective by the Blood Angel player,
Yeah,
and the Thousand Suns player could not do a single thing.
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a wall
Change
between your
to,
flamers and your opponent. Your flamers are gonna do diddly squat.
I don't know if preset middle is the way, because I'm not a huge fan of that either, but it is better.
Well, there's a couple of ways. So the way that we do it here in Canada is like the two small L-shaped ruins with like a lot of windows. They're like spaced around the objective. In the middle, the MATC, so the Maryland area, I guess. I don't know. Tournaments Maryland area tournament circuit, I guess.
Circuit, yeah, yeah.
So they have the same rule, but it's 4 inches, at least the one in the middle. So if you place a ruin on the middle, your opponent also gets to kind of touch it, at least. So
Yeah.
it makes for a weird format. And then there's another place which I think is the Death or Glory format or somebody else's form, which is basically a glass box in the middle. So it's like a big ruin that's on the middle objective, but you can basically see through it. So as long as you're touching the middle objective, you're gonna be like in plain sight of everybody, but it is there.
That's weird.
It was that one was a weird one, but it looks like the small pieces from the GW terrain boards. Like it's got a base, but there's like so many windows and so many like openings on it that it's really hard to be hidden if you're touching it.
I think
Right?
that's UKTC. I think they have trained at the preset middle. Well, their tables are all preset. They have trained
Yes.
in the middle, but yeah, if you touch it, you can see through all of it.
I've also read some. Speaking of the UKTC, because the UKTC is apparently very light. A lot of people think it's the most balanced, but it looks light in comparison to a lot of other formats. The WTC table 6 is apparently very good in all maps. So if you just want to like use your WTC pieces, the map 6 is apparently a very good one in every single mission, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, pretty much all their layouts are good, man.
Some are heavy. Also, the WTC pack terrain set that costs like $300 has 5 vents, and now there's 6 in some missions, and that drives me nuts.
That's awesome.
It is not awesome. Let me tell you what is not. No, it is
I don't
not
buy
awesome.
terrain, so that is awesome.
Stupid freaking vents. The vents are also so busted in that format.
Oh yeah, so busted.
Do you have any closing statements for our few listeners here? Maybe plug your own little podcast.
If you want to hear two men and a Frenchman talk about docking and or 40K, head on over to Hump Day 40K. We upload every Wednesday because it's Hump Day.
It checks out. Also, I want to specify I'm not the Frenchman on that podcast, so just don't get it confused.
But you have been.
I have, yeah,
on
twice
that
now. Thanks, Tim, for doing this. I think we got a banger of a bonus episode there.
podcast. Me too, my man. Thank you for having me.